do. When it's a boring time, you just stand around and you talk. That's good. So the process of developing membership is to, and I call it my 6 I's. Identify the neighbour or the guest speaker as a potential member of Rotary. Introduce the prospective member to Rotary. Invite the member into Rotary. And induct the member into Rotary, but don't muck around for a couple of months with that person. If you've got their attention and you all feel that they're appropriate for Rotary, get them in as quickly as you can. And then inform and orient the Rotarian to programs. Because the biggest problem is that people who leave Rotary within the first 2 years leave Rotary without knowing very much about Rotary. I've just got a very quick click presentation here to show what you should do in a sort of fireside chat, which I'll just turn on. And I'll operate that in a minute. So there, and then involve this new Rotarian, man behind the badge. Get him up or her and speak about themselves for 10 minutes, about their profession, how they grew up. Get them on the door so they get to know the members as they come in, because it's very difficult for them otherwise. And then educate with these fireside chats. For years I held fireside chats at Nerang. We used to mainly do it in winter around a fire. That's why it was called a fireside chat. We went to Cedar Lakes and we actually did have a fire there and it was great. Now, we tend to do a presentation. Actually, Ian and Heather Yarker, past district governors of this district, have actually put this little presentation together. And to educate members, in my own Rotary Club, I've held them at my house, and they can last for an hour with pizza and drinks, or they can last for 2 hours as long as you really want it, or as short as you want it. And it's amazing what comes out of that. The very first fireside chat I held, I had introduced an extremely good friend of mine to Rotary, who had been a Rotarian many, many years before, but just drifted away. Anyway, we got him back in. And as a result of that, we saw the tremendous work that our club had actually done with building a school over in Thailand, and he remained anonymous. He donated $60,000 to that project. Now, he's a very wealthy man, and he decided that he wanted to help children, and he's even gone over there to work on building that. And since then, he's also donated to our club another $100,000 to build either, I know you're building a clinic, Ray, that's fantastic, but it's a similar sort of thing. It's either going to be a hospital, which we've designed up, or it could be an orphanage, and we're searching out Sri Lanka. We found India too hard. It could be Thailand. We're trying to get over a few problems in Vietnam, but it is a project that our club will be doing, because our club actually has well, you'd have to call it a men's shed. Unfortunately, in our club, we're men only, and I always say that but would you believe that consistently we get women for the last probably 15 years who come up from Melbourne to do make-ups at our club. Pam Durra, a pharmacist, she always comes and says, "G'day boys, how are you boys?" She's fantastic. So I had to place in my mind, how do I overcome the problem of no women in our club, because we would actually lose probably about 8 of our members. They feel so strongly about it, and really they're just totally chauvinistic and it's totally wrong, but it's a fact of life. So I say, all right, you could go to Hope Island. We meet on exactly the same day at exactly the same time. You could go to Parkwood, who meet on a Wednesday morning, exactly the same time. Or you could go to Southport Broadwater, which meets on a Friday at exactly the same location. So I resolved that in my mind, so I've got that argument for anyone who comes along. So we have this workers' shed, which is great camaraderie again, making these, and you'll see just very briefly, we make children's bikes wheelchairs out of bikes using the wheels, and we put seats on it and so forth, and we distribute them to third world countries, and we have distributed over 6,000 of these throughout, and it's been going for a period of about 12 years. We had a fundraising project through Ray Martin on 60 Minutes. It featured there, and we got a tremendous amount of money from that. I think it was about 180,000. But you've got to be smart in the way you think as to how you develop your projects, involve your members, and you'll end up with a strong club. And I say we do have a strong club. But for a couple of years at the Southport Yacht Club, we struggled to get 20 members along to that club each meeting because lack of membership. We weren't strong. Well, that was a good club. We weren't strong. At least now at over 40, you're a strong club. And that's great. Now, the biggest problems of lack of membership, members leaving under 2 years with little knowledge of Rotary, the lost traditional source of Apexians when they turn 40, moving into Rotary. The problem is getting Generation X and Y to stay. Now, I know Generation Y has just gone out, but it's fantastic to see that Generation Y was here. But the way to get Generation X and Y is look at the average age of your club. Then look at the 10 years under that and try and introduce them, because the biggest problem is if you go from a club that has an average age of 60 to a person who's 30, they have difficulty in relating. At least if your average age is 60, you look at that 60 to 50, introduce a few there, then look from 50 to 40 and introduce a few there, and so on. Because Amy, it was, Generation Y, she needs a few more around her age in this club. And then, what do? You look at GSE, former GSE. As soon as I got back from southwest Pennsylvania, I was 26. I was asked to join the Broadbeach Rotary being formed. I was the youngest member in the district. And I felt totally isolated 2 years on from there because the expats from New Guinea had to move out of New Guinea and they seemed to all of a sudden join Broadbeach. And here I am. They're about 60, I'm 26, and I've grown again. And I actually, probably deliberately, lost my classification or residency in the Broadbeach area, and I moved to the new club of Nerang. And what a relief. I had guys, sure I was about the youngest in the club at 28 and I was president at 31, but I was dealing with guys who were 40, late 30s, and of course, lovely old George Panitz of Panitz Bakery of Nerang. George was in his 70s as charter president, and it was a great, harmonious club, and we built that club up to about 45. Look at Nerang now. They're struggling at 20. So clubs go up and down. You've got to keep the eye always on membership, always. Now, the other sources are former candidates, Rights, Ryler. Now, does everyone know what Rights is and what Ryler is? Does everyone know what GSE is? Because I guarantee young members won't. And they will need a little bit of Rotary education. Now, I'll just very quickly show you this. And in fact, Sandra, you should have this sent to you from the district now, or just about now, so that you can do it with your club, have these, as I'll call it, fireside chats.
I don't think you're plugged in here, man.
Oh, I've got to turn that on. Sorry.
It was.
Yeah, it's plugged in. So we've just got to wait for it to start up. I didn't time that very well, did I? I got carried away. And I'm just about out of time.